where you all are this week and some things that you shared in the 10K group, I think yesterday, about a paycheck from last, like, it's just beautiful. So you and I connected in February. It hasn't even been that long. Maybe
Mhm.
share a little bit of like what was going on in your life up until that
Yeah.
point, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, well, I know we don't have too much time, so I'm not going to share the entire story, but the gist of it is that I had a very short amount of time to be able to secure this job. I was coming from healthcare. I was an ER nurse, which in and of itself is a very masculine energy role. I mean, think about it. It's very go, 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 high intensity, cortisol's up all the time. And then I transitioned into a sales role in more of a holistic health matter. And so basically, you had to make your first sale out of 6 in order to secure your job. And I was on sale 2. And that night, I Googled sales coach. Elyse was the first one up there. And I was like, perfect. I align with this perfectly. Didn't really know. I think the blessing in this was that I didn't really know exactly what I was getting into. I just went into her page. It was beautiful. I just felt really called to like actually act and kind of book in an appointment. And I should have known from that first appointment, because this the first thing when I was like, oh, I don't know, like, should I wait till the job is secured? She's like, well, what would the cat that you want to be say? And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
well, here we go. And so I
Okay, can I just pause you? I'm sorry, because
started,
this is
please.
so important, because this was the
Yeah,
defining moment.
it
And this,
totally
so just to like emphasize what Kat just said for everyone, her job is not even secure. She's got a couple of opportunities to make a sale, and then there's no job if they don't come through. We're on this call. She's like, I can tell I need a sales coach. We're having the conversation. I think, there was alignment. You're like, yes, I can tell I want to do this. And yet the analytical mind was like, oh, but it would make so much more sense to wait to invest in myself until I know for sure I have a job.
100%.
And to your credit, and this is because I know, because I was in the same situation when I quantum leaped and I made the decision to act in faith, you did that as well. And this is the key. This is the distinction. So you're going to hear what's happened in Kat's life since then. But I'm here to tell you that if you are not willing to act in faith the way that she did, the results are not the same. So I want to just speak to that,
Absolutely.
because I saw what happened in that moment. That was a self-defining moment. So go ahead and keep going. But I think that's a really
No,
important part
thank
to
you
pull out.
for honing that in more, because you're so
Yeah.
right. It was an absolute decision that was made. And it was like, okay, we're doing this. I signed up. I didn't really even have time to go through the work, because my very next call was the next day. And I ended up closing that call. And so I was able to come to like the 10 a.m. 10K with my sale and my job now secured, thanks to just saying yes to myself. And I thought that was like a major win. And then it just continued to keep going, and just keep having wins. And what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, I hit my 1 million in revenue in 7 months, which depending on where you guys are at in sales, like that might not, just to give you like context, that typically takes, people in my role at least like a year and a half. And so it was a really big deal. And everyone was like, how the heck are you doing it? And my sales manager, who is a male and very, very masculine and like pre-call, 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 do all of these things. He's like, don't tell everyone what you're doing, because they're going to think that they don't need to do all of this pre-call work. Because the truth is I don't do any of that. Like, I don't do all of the traditional sales things. I just get on and I flow and I'm in my state. And it's so funny. Anytime I have any amount of dip in my sales, he now knows to ask me, have you been listening to Elise's videos? And I'll
Oh,
say, you know what? No, I haven't been. And I'll go and I actually start working through that again, because this is the kind of material that you can continue over and over and get something new out of each time. And even recently, I've been having and even like mental quantum leaps over the last few months, right? And depending on kind of your word, myself as a Christian, my word is always God, right? And I started studying, okay, well, how does this even incorporate with that? And I've been hyper fixated on this verse in Romans 2:12 that says, do not be conformed, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good, acceptable, and a perfect of God's will. Right. And so it says you do not get to understand what God's will is for your life until you first renew your mind. right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been doing these last few months. And I didn't even know was I've been renewing my mind and trying to get these things in a different state. And I'm so glad I got to speak on the masculine and feminine, because this is being in corporate, we're surrounded so much, surrounded so much by this masculine state. And it's like, wow, how can we renew our minds to get into a more feminine state? So that way we can continue to kind of get into where we want to quantum leap faster. And so like, it's just been unreal, the growth that's happened in such a short period of time.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah,
beautiful. I didn't know that you and your boss had those conversations. So I'm
I know.
cracking up.
Yeah, he's
So nurse, zero sales background, 1,000,000 in 7 months. Kat told me this, I think last week. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't know that.
yeah,
And you shared, what did you share in the Facebook group yesterday? Was it like you had an
yeah.
$11,000? Can you share like the contrast
$11,000
from
a
your
week
old
in
paycheck?
commission. Yeah,
Yeah.
so as a nurse, I was making like maybe $1,500 biweekly, and then if I would pick up extra shifts, but I mean, I know a lot of you guys are in healthcare. Picking up an extra shift is a lot on your body, on your energy, on your. I mean, it's a good bit. So I was like really having to work to just keep up with things. So when I say it was like a scary leap to invest in myself after not having a job, like it was scary. I was making $1,500 biweekly. I didn't have any savings. And so last week I had an $11,000 week, and it felt normal to me. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how that should be, because that's
Yeah.
my normal commission.
So
Um,
good.
and those things, they just happen. And it's just really making your weekly. And that's what I've been trying to embody
Mm.
the whole time.
Yeah. It's so fun. It's all levels of consciousness.
It
I
is.
mean, that's really what it is. It's just levels of consciousness. And it's how much do you want to expand? How much do you want to experience? And then to Kat's point of what you shared, normalizing that.
Mhm.
So when that 11K came in a week, it felt normal. And that's exactly how you know you were a match to it. Will you share, because this is fun, where you are right now? Will you share about
Yeah.
the lake just a
I,
little
you
bit?
guys probably can't see this. I had to be, but I am at, yeah, you can't see, but I'm at a lake house right now, which it's so funny when you first kind of get into the program and you start like diving into the work and the modules that Elyse has in there. It's very much visualization heavy. And all I've ever wanted was a lake house. And obviously we want to build a lake house. I have this beautiful dream for a lake house, but did feel very, very far away. But I released the how on how that happens. And so my husband and I, like almost a month ago, sold all of our stuff and are now traveling full time. And we are staying in a lake house now for 2 months. And so I'm living in a lake house. And I would have never guessed how that would have happened. Do I own this house? No. But I get to live here, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'll post a picture in the Facebook group, but I mean, it is unreal.
It's so
So
beautiful. It's a step. Like if you want to own the lake house, like you will absolutely do it. I know that about
go
you.
find a way to get in one.
It will. But that's it. It's like, what's the next step that I can take? And
Yeah.
that's kind of that blend, that powerful blend of feminine and masculine is, a lot of people think, oh, I need to see the full how, I need to know the full picture. I told you all yesterday, I've never made a business plan in my life. I'm always like, what's the big picture vision? I'm going to say yes to that. What's the next step I can take to get closer? So
Yeah.
in your journey, like I know in probably no time, you're going to come on one of these calls and you'll be in a lake house that you own, right? But it'll be the perfect home for you. And you
Mhm.
all are going to have these beautiful experiences in the meantime. And on the way, you're getting yourself in that environment. Environment matters so much to
Yeah.
connect with your goals. And that is feminine. It's the feeling state, it's the environment. So I just love you. I love your story. It's so powerful. And I mean, 7 months, like, holy crap, where
Yeah.
are you going to be by the end of the year and
I
beyond?
know. It's been such
Yeah.
a crazy journey. And that's why, initially, even a few weeks ago, I started asking Elise, like, how can I help you? Like, what can I
Mhm.
do? And she's like, just start talking to the people that are in your same shoes. So, like, for
Yeah.
you guys, anybody that needs anything this week, please reach out. Like, I love this work so much. It has transformed my life. And I would love to
Mm,
be able to just help any way I can with you guys.
I love that. We'll share homework. One final question before we do. Just, I think kind of going back to that moment where you decided to invest in yourself, and I mean, you were in a situation that a lot of people aren't, where you're like, I don't even know if I have a job, right? Now, some people are, and they come in here, and that's beautiful too. But just words of wisdom for anyone who's kind of feeling like, yes, I do want to go deeper. I do want to have my own version of that quantum leap. What would you say that helped you in terms of your own transformation?
Yeah, I think that what really helped was honestly you just asking me that question and giving me the space to come up with that myself and say, like, you know what would future me want? And future me did not want to have any reservations about investing in myself, right? Like, I was tired
Mm,
of putting other people first, other situations first. Like, I knew I needed this. I knew this was the life that I wanted. And it was just, okay, well, what do I need to do to get there?
yeah.
And it was acting from that state, which is why I said the beautiful and suffering states, which is what you've taught on so much. That to me is the most helpful thing ever. Because I get
Mm,
now, I don't make a decision unless I'm in a beautiful state.
yeah. Yeah.
And it has changed so much.
Oh
So
my gosh. You're amazing. I love you. Thank you for sharing
thank
that.
you.
Uh, yeah, y'all are
Dawn,
luck.
are you using them on work today? No.
Hold on. All right. Amazing. All right. So let's share homework and then what to expect tomorrow. And again, I love the engagement from all of you in the group and submitting the homework. So it's really, really powerful. Let me pull it up because I have it in a visual for you. Okay. So you're going to let me actually show, because this will be easier. We will post it in the group. And we'll send it out in a recap email as well, but you can just see it this way